there, sunshines! Is Ulta Beauty being sued for selling used makeup? And can I honestly recommend that you still shop there? I'll let you know all of the details and opinions of a former Ulta manager. But first, if you want beauty secrets from an industry insider that can seriously help you up your makeup game, make sure and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss a thing. Okay, so about a week ago, I addressed my personal experiences working for Ulta and an issue that's kind of turned into a storm for Ulta Beauty. Basically, a former employee called out Ulta on Twitter for reselling used products that had come back in from returns. So obviously this stirred up a ton of controversy. People were weighing in on both sides, some saying that they thought she was just a disgruntled ex-employee, and some saying that they had seen this kind of behavior firsthand and for themselves. I actually did make a video about it last week regarding my firsthand experiences working for Ulta as a manager. If you want the whole backstory on this and my firsthand experiences and opinions, not just as a former Ulta manager, but as the person that was over the department that dealt with the returns firsthand, I'll link the video where I go into all the details up above. So I'm sure Ulta was hoping that this was kind of all over with. But then the word lawsuit started getting thrown around the internet, and consumers are understandably scared. Now, I've seen a lot of misinformation about these lawsuits floating around the internet, particularly in beauty groups, and so I wanted to come on here with some facts about what's actually going on and also what you can do to make sure that your cosmetics are clean and safe. So, the details. Okay, so one rumor that I've heard the most is that Twitter user FatinaXMO, the one that started the tweet heard round the beauty world, is the one that's actually suing Ulta, which leads people to accuse her of making the whole thing up just to get a payout. So this is not the case. There are actually, at this time, 2 separate lawsuits that have been brought against Ulta Beauty, both by different individuals, and none of them are the original tweeter. So it's to the best of my knowledge that the first lawsuit is directly regarding the allegations that Ulta is supposedly reselling used makeup. Now, I have already weighed in on this, but this kind of stuff does happen occasionally when rogue managers take it upon themselves to cut corners. And yes, Ulta and most cosmetic companies do put pressure on their managers to keep dollars lost from returns under a certain percentage. But trying to solve that problem by reselling used makeup is like trying to lose weight by fad dieting instead of just eating right and exercising. It doesn't really work, and any results that you do get will be short-lived and probably backfire. What most managers do in response to this is train their staff not to be overly pushy and to ask the right questions so that customers go home with the right products and just minimize returns in the first place. I will say that something that Ulta could do to help themselves out in all of this is to start doing samples. Most cosmetics retailers are more than happy to just sample their little hearts out, because if you've tried something, the chances of you getting it home and then realizing you hate the smell of it or that it broke you out and now you need to bring it back are greatly reduced. So, do I think this lawsuit will hold water? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I am no lawyer. I'm so far from being a lawyer, I probably could have gotten arrested for forgetting to pay minor traffic violations. They were really nice and just sent me a warning that I missed my court date. But if I really had to guess, I would wager that I don't think this one's gonna go very far, because it is against their policy to do those things, and it's just individuals taking it upon themselves to cut corners. It's not a company-wide thing. And honestly, it's not even solely an Ulta thing. This kind of stuff happens everywhere, and Ulta's just the one that got called out. They seem to be the beauty retailer that gets drug whenever drama breaks out, and if I had to guess, it's because they're growing like crazy compared to other retailers right now. And the faster you grow, the harder it is to keep all your little duckies in a row behind you. Now, the second lawsuit, however, really caught my attention. This one seems to be more focused on the fact that they resell returned items that appear not to be used. And yes, they do that. That is 100% true. The lawsuit specifically quotes someone saying that they were instructed that if it looks like it could be put back on the sales floor, to put it out and sell it. And that's probably true. Now, as problematic as this practice is, here's my issue with the lawsuit. Yes, Ulta does put returned products that appear to be unused back on the shelf for resale. But I've also never worked for a retailer that didn't do this. Sephora, 100% does this. Bare Minerals, 100% does this. Makeup counters, 100% put products that are returned that they think are unused back on the shelf for resale. This is beauty industry wide. So unless you're buying products that came exclusively from a company that has a strict no return policy, there is a slight chance that you could be purchasing a product that went home with somebody and then they didn't like it. Now, I choose to take this chance because I have a metal allergy and some other things that make my skin kind of sensitive to certain products, and when you're spending a lot of money on things, especially like expensive skincare, you don't want to get it home and then realize that you threw that money down the drain. Especially when half the times the thing that triggers my allergy is the packaging, which isn't going to be noted on the ingredients list. And to be honest, in my opinion, if these companies all switched to a strict no return policy, I think that the outrage that would come from that would far outweigh the situation that they're dealing with now. That's just my buy-in. Let me know what you think, if companies should still take returns, or if in light of this, they should stop. So obviously I'm pro-return policy, but what do I think that companies could do better to help protect their customers? First of all, if you notice the cosmetics section of Walmart or CVS, inexpensive cosmetics are usually better sealed. They're pretty tamper evident, so if somebody's opened it, it's really obvious that it's been used and you can't put the packaging back the way that it was. But high-end cosmetics usually aren't like this. A lot of times they're just in boxes that can be opened and reshut, and they're not really sealed in any way to make sure that they haven't been messed with. And honestly, if returns were suddenly mass outlawed, people would still mess with stuff in stores. If there's not a tester out, somebody's gonna open it and try it for themselves and then put it back on the shelf. This happens all the time. So I think that these big retailers could work with individual brands to come up with packaging solutions that would make it 100% clear if something's been tampered with or used, and if it's not sealed, then it goes. And secondly, and I touched on this briefly before, but samples. If you want to cut down on returns, just give customers samples. Now, there's always going to be people who abuse the system, but I know for me and probably most consumers, if I've been able to try something and I know for a fact that I'm not going to get it home and I'm going to hate the smell of it once I've opened it or have some kind of weird allergic reaction, the chance that I'm gonna decide I don't like it and want to return it is pretty slim. So the bottom line is, am I still gonna be shopping at Ulta? Yeah, absolutely. I love their rewards program. And I know that most of the products in their stores haven't been touched, but it's important to always, always, always check for yourself. And in the video that I referenced before, it's also in the description down below, I go over some ways that you can look at your products and kind of decide for yourself if you think that they've been tampered with or not. The best thing you can do is use your own eyes and check for yourself to make sure everything is clean. Yes, you can purchase online and that might reduce the chance that something like this could happen, but I've also heard crazy stories of consumers getting things from online purchases that have been tampered with as well. So really, at the end of the day, you just have to check every single product for yourself. Honestly, if I was gonna stop shopping at Ulta, by the same reasoning, I would have to stop shopping at Sephora and pretty much anywhere else too. And I'm too much of a makeup junkie for that to happen. So if you want to find out all the beauty secrets from an industry insider that can seriously help you up your makeup game, make sure and hit the subscribe button so that way you don't miss any of the videos coming out for you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.